Hi there. All right, so it's been a minute since I've did one of these on here, so I'm gonna just run through real quick, provide an update and also possible forecast as to what we're looking at for this week. All right, so firstly, we're gonna look at gold. Now, on the monthly time frame, we do see where we are having a lot of rejections in the 3400s. So far, we haven't really had a candle closing above 38 or 3309 on the monthly time frame. This one is still open, so gonna see about that. So we're having a lot of wick rejections there on the monthly time frame. So something I'm keeping in mind. Now on the weekly time frame, what we're seeing is we had a last week closed with a bearish engulfing here, rejecting these highs here. Nothing too clear as this right here. This level was a support, was a resistance, sorry. And now it can be support on the weekly. However, right here, it's a bit too choppy, so nothing there to really highlight on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, it does show where we're consolidating between this range. So it's about 2,500 pip range that we're consolidating in between there. Now, ideally, why I am looking at sales, let's just take a look here. So, this is pretty good. So we have a trend line. Let's do this one here. So as you see, we have multiple points on this trend line. We can start it from here, two, and we could even include more if we do it like this. So it shows we have a trend line touches, touches a break right here. So we can see where price broke a trend line here, and then we got a retest right here on the daily. All right, now that can be also another potential reason as to why we're gonna sell it off. So let's look. So right here on the daily time frame, it is also showing where we have a level of resistance that so far we haven't had any candle closure above. One, two, three, four attempts failed at closing above this level, right? So as it relates to lows right here, we're seeing where price made an equal low recently on the daily time frame. Right? So a low was created here, and then we had an equal low just like this equal high. However, we got a break and retest of this trend line. This right here is also a variation on the daily time frame that was tested with this candle right here. All right. Now, looking at the daily time frame as well, you do see where um there was a variation gap here as well, and that was filled. And now we got a strong push to the downside with this daily candle rejecting this level. So ideally now we're looking to see how we will close or how the week could actually close if we're gonna get a break below this level. So that is on the daily time frame. So let's see. Ideally, if we're gonna play a fib for the daily time frame, then it's gonna be this fib here as it relates to sales on the daily time frame. Well, let's chop it down a bit to the 4-0. All right. So now on the 4-0, we're having tradable areas. So this area is what I'm very keen on. I'm very keen on this price area right here. And this is where I believe we had our final TP based on the signal that we're holding from last week. So I want to see what price does when it reaches this area. All right, now key thing to note is that This is also an area of interest. As you see, it's coming from the left. So primarily for sales to continue or for us to look to take new sales, then we would need a closure below, break and a retest below this 4 hour level. All right. So if we're gonna mark it out to see what it is that we're gonna be looking for. All right. So I'm gonna put this trend line here at the top just to have that. Of course, we can add a trend line here, but I'm not gonna force that. Now we can see where the level here price created a key level right here, and we pushed past the support that was created, right? And then we came back and we retested it right here, right? So with us retesting price right here, then we're looking potentially to now fall below this low, right? So ideally, that is what I'm looking for based on the signal that was sent. The cells that we're holding, I'll show that chart in a second. But this is what, so the fib ideally was this. It can be adjusted, but originally this was the fib that we had, right? So price came down, it pulled back to our 50. And now we're waiting to see if we're gonna get to a TP2 on the fib. I said this is a very key zone, right? Now, outside of this, what I would do in terms of any other trend line would be something of this sort, just to see if price pushes down and what we're gonna have. So we still want to take this step by step, right? Still have to take it step by step as you see right here what's happening with price. So this is a 1 hour time frame. All right, and it's showing. So right here we came down, we created a support, rejected, we broke the support, we came back and we retested that support as resistance. So now we're waiting to see what this new week will bring us. If price is going to be consolidating more before giving us a break to the downside or um, to the upside. Ideally, I'm really not looking for buys based on the higher time frame. Anything can play out, but I'm honestly not looking for buys at this time. I'm just looking to see if we're going to get the confirmation. So if you're currently not in a trade on gold, then the areas that we'd have to watch would be here for break and the retest, or if price decides to push up, right? But again, I'm more on the sell, the bearish bias, unless price shows differently. If price shows differently, then we would adjust accordingly. This is the trade right here. So we took the cells. Well, this chart would have shown that. All right, so we took the cells here, came down, we grabbed some take profit here. Price came back, almost took us out twice, almost. But then it continued to sell. So this is the same trend line that we had there. Um, different brokers a different pricing, but we did get a trend line retest and also a minor structure TP2 was hit when price gave the pullback, which is right here, as you see. So price gave the pullback there after coming to our 78%. We got a TP2 hit on a minor structure. That would have been another nice entry. However, because we were still in sales, I didn't bother to add a new one there for the signals group, that is. But this is what we're looking at. So far we've hit TP2. So we've secured 100 pip from this move already. TP3 is going to be 200 pip, I believe. So that is what we're currently looking at, and we have up to TP4 right here that was sent in the signals group. So that is what we're looking on to see how gold reacts to this minor support level right here, based on the fact that it did not close below this level on Friday. So want to see how market opens and see if we're gonna go below this level to continue our trade or not. So that is ideally what I'm looking at this week. The trade main focus is going to be on gold. I will look at different pairs later on this week. Didn't want to make this recording too long, but that is the analysis that I have, and that is what I'm currently working with as it relates to gold. So we're gonna wait for market to open, see what it does, and then we're gonna take it from there. We're gonna trade it step by step. So thank you once again for tuning in. Be patient. Don't chase the market. Let the market comes to you, and then you just execute.